This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
This table is really tilted.
Excuse me? Am I gonna get a chance to speak?
Maybe I should take that back.
Denied. Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Take a giant step for mankind.
Welcome to the Tilted Table with your hosts, Sean and Joe.
Folks, welcome to another episode of the Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I am Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And how are you doing today, Joe?
Well, I want to intro this episode with ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at a lean and mean 172 pounds. It's the hometown hero, Sean Kabibi.
And where are my cheers? Can I insert some cheers? Do it in the back editing. Just insert cheers.
See, I've been wanting to do that for a while, so I finally got my shot.
All right. Well, cool. I like the intro. I'll have to come up with something equally as awesome for you at some point in the near future.
You can go ahead and make that your ringtone. Like, on all of your friends and family's phones, whenever you call, that's the sound that happens.
Man, the ego you would have to do that. It's just nuts. Who would do that? Fuck off. The person that does that.
Right. Well, it's kind of like one of my funny things is, teasing people. Like, at what point do you start? This is a question for them. Is at what point do you start referring to yourself in the third person?
Oh shit.
And then it's just funny because I've asked a couple people. I said, just do it for like 4 minutes in a room of randoms, and just see what happens. It's entertaining. Then you have to like beg off afterwards and be like, I was just checking to see what the response would be.
I don't know.
I'm not that guy.
That level of trolling is just not in my nature. People do stuff. I mean, obviously, people troll all the time. It's big money. It just starts with shit like Candid Camera and Punked and shows like that, where I guess originally it was just pranks, but now it's just say something or do something or act a certain way just to troll on people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me. I hate to say this, but I think it's one of the most dysfunctional personalities. It's just passive aggressive behavior, and I think passive aggressive people are some of the worst humans that walk this planet.
I don't disagree with that. So my funny troll thing, and then I know you had a topic for today, but I saw this thing on X where it's these, I forget where, I'm going to assume it was in Europe. There's these two guys, they've got to be like 6'7", 350 pound, like bodybuilder type, like just mountains of men.
Right.
Like think mountain, the mountain from Game of Thrones, like two guys just like that.
Yeah. They're
dressed in black suits with dark sunglasses, and they find like some unsuspecting person, and they quickly walk up next to them, like they're that person's bodyguards. Okay. And they kind of push people away. And when the person's like confused, like, I don't know what's going on, and they'll like put their finger on their ear, like they got the little earpiece thing. Yeah. And then they'll just kind of like usher the person wherever it is that they're going, and like kind of part the sea of people in front of them like it's a celebrity, and to watch the response on the people's face because they have no idea what's going on. That kind of trolling, I think, is epic.
Yeah, no, that's fun trolling.
Yeah.
It's a lighthearted goof. The trolling I'm talking about is, making people's lives miserable.
Oh yeah, that's
tough. And then of course when people get mad, it's like, it's passive aggressive. They turn it around and say like, it's just a joke, man. You're so uptight type attitude. Like you're the
chill
problem.
Out. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. All right. Well, I'm excited to hear what you got.
Well, what I got is a story that turned into a topic. And again, I don't know how deep this goes, but I thought it was interesting. So I don't know how many people know this. I don't know if you know this. The famous book, The Outsiders, and the movie, The Outsiders, that launched many careers of some of today's finest actors, such as, well, I shouldn't say today's finest actors, but some fine actors from the 80s, 90s into the 2000s. This was the breakout role for like Tom Cruise, or one of his breakout roles, Patrick Swayze, Ralph Macchio.
This is a single movie.
Yeah, you don't know this?
I do not.
I'm telling you, man. I'm quitting. This is the last podcast. I don't know The Outsiders. Okay, so well, let's backtrack a little bit. So it was a book written by a woman named S.E. Hinton, and she wrote this book, and it's a young adult novel, and it's like it takes place in like the 50s or 60s or whatever, and it's the classic jocks versus the wait, no, it's not the jocks. The greasers versus like the soch, so it's got the biker kind of, the outsider kids.
It's like the Jets versus the Sharks.
Yeah, I guess. It's funny. I'm here talking about how you don't know it, and I'm even myself going like I haven't read the book in 30 years. So, and I saw the movie when I was a kid. But anyways, it was a big hit book, and a woman in Fresno, California, a teacher, I guess, had taught the book to class. And I don't know what brought it up, but they were talking about like it's such a good book, it should be a movie. And so she decided to write Francis Ford Coppola and said, you should make this into a movie. He got the letter and made a movie, and it became a massive hit.
Okay.
Right. So, and you got the launching pad for, again, Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, Ralph Macchio. What's his name? Is it Matt Dillon? I always there's another actor like Matt Dillon. I get him confused, but also with C. Thomas Howell. I don't know if you know who he is.
I don't know who that
he's
is.
the centerpiece of the story I'm going to talk about. So for some reason, I don't know if it's an anniversary thing, Fresno High School had this whole outsiders kind of celebration, and partly because again the whole reason the movie was made is some teacher from Fresno wrote Francis Ford Coppola and got it made.
Okay.
So it makes sense that Fresno High would, host something like this. Well, of course, they wanted to bring in one of the original actors. Tom Cruise was unavailable, right? Patrick Swayze's dead. Mm-hmm. Ralph Macchio is busy, right? So all these actors have careers, except for one, C. Thomas Howell. So they brought in C. Thomas Howell to do this.
I'm looking this up. I have no idea who C. Thomas Howell is.
Okay, so you should look him up, and you'll probably find out why I'm talking about him in a minute. So anyways, so C. Thomas Howell shows up, and they do the thing. I guess the event goes well. I did not go. Well, a couple of my kids, they're seniors, they went to this thing. It was part of, I think, extra credit for one of their classes or something. So they're talking about it in class, and and one kid brings up C. Thomas Howell, the actor, and how he did a movie in 1986 called Soul Man. And do you know this film?
I don't know this film either.
I think it might have been one of our, I may put it on the list of when we talked about movies or something. So the movie is a typical mid-'80s comedy, and the premise is this. It's a rich white kid who gets accepted to Harvard Law School. And his dad's paid for everything up to this point. But his dad tells him, I'm not paying for this. You're an adult. You figure out how to pay for your law school. And of course, being the spoiled rich kid he is, rather than like go get a job, he decides to overdose on tanning pills and turns himself black.
Yeah, I've definitely not seen this.
Right? And he gets a scholarship for black people. And the movie, and I'll stop there. It doesn't matter what happens in the movie, but the whole point is when he did this film in 1986 and it came out, it was just lambasted by people as being insensitive, shallow, a kind of movie that they couldn't believe that somebody would actually make this film. And it ruined his career. Like, I'm not saying he hasn't acted. He was on The Walking Dead. He had a small part. I mean, he's done roles. But
I just saw that he was in E.T.
Yeah. And ultimately, when you look at Patrick Swayze had a big time movie career, and Tom Cruise, and Ralph Macchio has had a pretty good career, especially with Cobra Kai. All these guys went on, he didn't, and it was because of that movie. And everybody got their shot. All those actors got a shot. So when that movie came out, the hot young actors, everyone got a movie, and I'm sure they all picked one. C. Thomas Howell picked the wrong one to do, right? So my kids in class start talking about this movie, and they're really upset over it. He should be canceled. He should, get some repercussions. Like, why would he do this? He's in blackface, and it's just this horrible film. And I said, that this ruined his career. He already went through this. You can't go back just because you weren't alive, child, when it originally happened. I don't think you have the right to go back and attack somebody again. Like, it's like double jeopardy to me. Mm-hmm. He's already suffered the consequences of that film. And just because you weren't alive when he initially went through it, I don't think gives you a right to go back and run him through the freaking mud again. He's already paid his dues. He's already paid the price and suffered the consequences for choosing such a horrible film to do. And this reminds me of something that happened in 2016 when Guns N' Roses reformed with most of the original members. So they go on to these big stadium tours, and then all these young people came up and they started pointing out that song "One in a Million," where Axl refers to black people by the N-word, and he makes really derogatory references to immigrants and gay people, calls gay people by the F-word, all those things, right? They're absolutely outraged. And I'm like, he got nailed to the wall when that song came out, and you can't go back. I don't think it's right to go back, and just because you weren't there when it originally happened, you can't get outraged and think that you found or you discovered something new and drag this guy through the mud one more time. So I didn't know if there was a term for this, and it's called historical revisionism.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, and so I just, it's this idea that, well, we can go back and do it again because now we have new social context to look at it from a new perspective, and that people could be punished again for something they were already punished for. I'm not buying any of this at all.
No, I don't agree with that at all.
Now, you could make an argument if they were never punished initially, like it was accepted during the time and everybody loved it and wasn't a big deal, and now you want to go back. I can see that, but no. If you've already been, again, you paid your dues, you already suffered the consequences. I don't think it's right to suffer them again, just because the people that want to put you through it just weren't born yet and they weren't there for the first time. Can you imagine, you did something 30 years ago and you got your ass kicked physically for it, somebody beat you up, and then 30 years later their kids find out about it and go like, well, my dad got a shot, I need to get the chance to beat your ass too.
Well, I mean, it's almost like, what is the other phrase for it? Double jeopardy, where you're taking today's value system or ways of thinking and imposing it on previous generations that had a completely different context and values, and saying what you did is wrong and what we're doing is right. When, I mean, this could be a 5-hour long podcast. I think the way that things were done before was the right way, and not necessarily the way things are done today being the right way. I think there's got to be a happy medium between those things. So when I hear about that, the whole cancel culture and like the self-martyrdom or victim culture, like, I don't know, man. This is where I insert my giant eyeball roll. I commend you for your patience and the way that you can handle your students, because I think I'd be about 6 seconds in and be like, yep, that's it, I'm out.
See, I think differently about these things, and I think it's primarily because I am not a Republican, a Democrat. I'm not left or right. I'm mostly lean libertarian, and I'm fine with the idea. I mean, to me, everything is just a social construction anyways. So can people be mad about Soul Man today? Sure, they can be mad about it. I was upset with it myself when it came out, and I was a kid when I thought that stuff should be funny. Even I was like watching this movie going like, ugh, this is a bit dicey. But again, you can be mad about it, and you can have that conversation, and then everybody's going to come to an opinion. And my opinion is that I don't think that you can go back and, drag somebody through the mud again if they've already been through it one time. I get that you're upset. I'm not discounting your feelings, but if I'm willing to cross the bridge and recognize why you're upset, and I think it's completely understandable, you have to walk across that same bridge and understand my point as well. And then we can have the conversation. But if you lock yourself away and just say like, you're wrong, I'm right, and in this particular case, C. Thomas Howell should be, butchered again. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, and just live in your own echo chamber of like, I'm right.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem with that. And I mean, it's not really about cancel culture to me, because even that's kind of died out. I think my favorite word these days is fatigue, and this idea of strictly being fatigued by this type of stuff. It's just over and over again. You just get tired of it. Like, oh God, another person's getting canceled for what? Well, did you see what they said back in 1987? Right. But okay, yeah. Then that's when the eye rolls come in. So it's like anything else. You there's a limit, and everything has its limit. And I think cancel culture's pretty much reached that limit. So yeah, that's my story with C. Thomas Howell, who I think is a great actor, and I feel bad for him. As far as the movie Soul Man goes, it is painfully inappropriate and shallow as it was in a lot of ways. It did ultimately have, a good point. Of course, this guy goes through racism because everybody thinks he's black. And he goes through all the, getting looked at a certain way or talked to a certain way because people think he's black. And so he experiences it. And, he learns the lesson. And then he starts dating a girl who's black and finds out that of the 10 scholarships that they handed out, he was the 10th one. She was the 11th. So the girl he's dating, he took her scholarship, and she's like a single mom struggling. So, yeah.
Does it end well?
Yeah, of course he gets exposed, and rightfully so. And I'm going by memory. He makes up with her, and I think they, roll off into the sunset happy.
Do you own this on the collector's edition DVD?
No, but you can get it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
On Laserdisc?
I'm sure you can. Yeah. So yeah, that's my story of the day.
No,
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's exciting that you've got some cultural context to bring to the table.
Yeah, and for the record, my kids weren't that upset over it, but there were a couple kids that, again, I think a lot of it has to do with humans are naturally drawn to drama, and this is something to be upset about.
Well, and it's also
being upset in these contexts, I don't think lasts that long. It's not like they were trying to rally a bunch of people together. It was a conversation in the class, and some kids just like, oh,
right,
screw him.
Knee-jerk reactions.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, without any full background or understanding of context. Or, I mean, it's kind of crazy. This goes to the whole thing, like you and I are getting old. We are talking about something that happened 40 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The world was different 40 years ago.
Yeah.
If we could go back and talk to our younger selves and be like, hey, you know what? There's going to be a magical square that you're going to be able to carry around in your pocket that will have all of the secrets of the galaxy. And anytime you want to know anything, you consult your magical square in your pocket. Yeah. Right? Like nobody would believe that.
I think the other thing that bothers me about it a little bit is that it's not giving older generations credit. When they do this, it's like when I'm telling you that somebody already went through, the ringer for this. Who put him through the ringer? We did.
Yep.
So you're discounting the fact, like, you think we were just standing around going like, yeah, Soul Man's a great film and it's, brilliance, and what are you talking about? Just because he's in blackface and, whatever. Like, no, he got blasted for this. The same as Axl Rose got blasted for it when he said those words and he put out that song. So I think it's discrediting the fact that older generations already did what you're doing right now. So you're just copping our shit. We already did it.
So what do you think about the movie Blazing Saddles?
You know what? It's funny. That movie is so well regarded. I don't think it ever really got hit. I mean, people complained about it, I think, in modern times. It's insensitive and, it's, these tropes in it and whatnot. But I think because it's such a classic film, it just didn't get the same kind of heat, so.
I think it's hilarious.
I mean, it's a classic film. I thought it was funny. I still think it's funny. And again, for me, Soul Man, I don't think it's a bad film. But I do understand why people hated it. And was it a movie I would have made? No, I wouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot pole. Because, again, it is an insensitive film on a lot of levels.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Leave a like on the video. I know you're enjoying this. Can you shut up?
The internet's answer to a question that was never asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
You know what? Same topic, different gear. Did you ever watch that TV show Sliders?
Oh, yeah. Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah. I thought, man, we should. That's definitely one. I've got a couple months on my hands. I'm going to go back and binge it. That was such a great concept. So Sliders was, that was kind of mid-90s-ish.
Late 90s, maybe? Mid-late 90s?
And the premise was there was different, so like say the planet Earth, but there was like parallel universes of the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And you would slide from one through like some wormhole portal thingamajigger from one alternate reality to the next one. And that Soul Man, is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like totally like a Sliders episode.
Well, I mean, these types of films, I think, if you go back historically, there's a ton of films that are similar kind of
Mm-hmm.
ideas that would today wouldn't, you know. I mean, we already had this episode where we talked about things that just simply couldn't be made today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Blazing Saddles was one that was brought up. Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time is Undercover Brother.
I've never seen it. That's
with Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin, yeah.
Oh man, that was awesome.
I've never seen it.
I own the collector's edition of Undercover Brother, and I have a number of. There's so many classic not outtakes, but like scenes of that movie that I've actually have the GIF of that scene saved on my phone, so I can auto reply to certain people with that.
Yeah, and that's a satire of the blaxploitation films of the 70s, which is an interesting subject in of itself. I've told my kids about blaxploitation movies, and they're absolutely blown away that movie exists. Like, have you ever seen Blackula?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, these are classic. I guess I don't know. I would call them classic films.
Yeah.
But it was Mario Van Peebles was the main guy that did most of these films. But and I don't know necessarily if it's because, you know, you got black writers and directors that are making these types of movies that they're not going to get the same kind of heat.
Yeah.
You know, obviously if white people did it, it would, you know, be viewed in a different, you know, light.
I remember as a kid having a major crush on Foxy Brown.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Pam Grier, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. All the karate kicks and nunchucks and the hair and everything. I thought she was amazing.
I mean, pure 70s. If you want to see something that's pure 70s, watch any blaxploitation film like Shaft or whatever.
Yes. Oh, Shaft had
I'm going to get you, sucker. Classic.
Yes. And Shaft has got to be one of the all-time great like intro songs to a show.
And they've redone it. Shaft still, you know, I think out of all those films, and I don't know how they're viewed in a larger context. I haven't really heard too many people criticize them for being exploitation, other than the fact that it actually is, you know, exploitation in the title of the genre. But yeah, that's the one that's gotten. I think it's considered really, really credible. They've redone it a bunch of times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who was the last one? Was it Samuel L. Jackson was Shaft?
You know what? I don't remember.
Or Lawrence Fishburne or one of those.
It should have been Denzel, but that's just me.
One of the things I think you should do, like if and when you do win the Powerball, is have Samuel L. Jackson narrate your life as you walk around.
I'd rather have Denzel do it.
Okay.
I mean, everybody always picks Morgan Freeman, right? That's the classic go-to. Samuel, of course, yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with Samuel L. Jackson, but I don't know. Denzel's, you know, he's got a certain kind of style. The way he talks is just so clean. Like I just saw Philadelphia a couple weeks ago. I never watched films.
Yeah, I've that's what Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that movie since it came out. And he's so slick in that movie as the lawyer, and the way he talks, I'm just like, yeah, that's the dude I wanted to narrate my life.
Training Day.
Yeah.
I'd say that's one. I'd say it's in my top 20 all-time personal favorite films. I love that movie.
I would say it's in my top 20 as well.
Yeah. I am King Kong.
It just somebody says King Kong ain't got shit on me. I'll put cases on all you motherfuckers. Yeah, that's a classic scene. He's so good in that movie. He's good in most everything he does.
Everything. The Book of Eli.
Oh, he's great in that. Yeah, it's a great film. And Book of Eli is a type of movie that just by its, you know, storyline and what it's about would do nothing for me. And that one's a really good film.
Did you know in watching, so I'm going to answer my own question before I ask it. I did not know he was blind until the end of the movie when he pulls out the Bible and it was in Braille. I was like, wait, what? He's been blind the whole time?
You know what? I don't recall whether, I think I knew he was blind. The twist for me, it was the Bible that he was protecting. Yeah, like I had no clue until the end. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. Usually I'm pretty good at figuring these things out.
The one person who can read Braille. So what do you think of, like, as a segue from Book of Eli, apocalyptic literature?
Well, I haven't read a lot of apocalyptic literature. Outside of the movie I did as a kid when we talked in a previous episode, my dad did an adaptation of some apocalyptic book, but apocalyptic movies and TV shows, yeah, I dig them. It just depends on, you know, what it's about, I guess.
So do you think when Skynet goes active, it's going to be like that, or it's going to be different?
I don't think robots and humans would fight in the way that the Terminator depicts.
Do you think they'll be smoother? Have you seen Elon's new robot, like, and how like slick it was dancing and everything else?
Well, yeah, but so I have this is the theory that I have, and again, this is just a theory. The reason why I don't think AI will overtake humans is because, and maybe we've talked about this on a previous episode, I don't know, or I've talked to you about it, is that for someone or something to want to take over and take power, and I don't know if that means oppress a group or eliminate a group of people, whatever it would be, they have to have motivation to do so.
Yep.
And motivation only comes from feelings. So ultimately, I can't see machines doing it because what's their motivation? They don't have any feelings. So what is it that they are? What's driving them?
I think that's such a great point. So if we were writing a screenplay for something, so you would have somebody who could insert or manipulate some of the code within AI. So what if you always have an AI that is seeking truth or centered around truth, and you feed like a little sliver of untruth in there that gets the AI to think differently, I think that's how you would do it.
Well, okay, so if you're trying to get the AI to recognize something that is not truthful and wanting to stop it, I don't know if that equates to wanting to take over. I'll just use America. Like AI decides it wants to take over America and somehow rule over humans.
I don't think it would do that. It would be like, what is the biggest blight or cause of death? I'm totally making this up. What is the biggest blight and cause of death on planet Earth? And then you would get the AI to say it's humans. In order to get rid of the death and the blight, what do? You eliminate the problem.
Okay,
right? Something like that.
Okay, so that I can get on board with. That makes sense. But again, there has to be an end game. If the end game is to eliminate humans, which let's say the robots can do that, or AI can somehow pull that off, then what is the motivation beyond that? Do they just shut themselves down and say mission complete?
Probably.
So
we're writing a screenplay, right? This is where you're staring at a black computer screen and you've got the blinking green square where the cursor would be, and then it just stops blinking.
Okay, yeah, maybe so. I mean, it makes sense. I can see that being the motivation.
Ooh.
But the other thing is still I think that the robots would have to care that people are destroying the planet. And I think that comes with motivation. It comes with feelings. Like, why would the robots care if we're destroying the planet or not? Or that we're destroying each other?
Wouldn't you just train, it's through mistruth and misdirection that you achieve, the AI achieves its goals. So you could give it some type of a nihilistic tilt in the way that it thinks.
What about...
we should totally write a screenplay, by the way.
Who is it? Is it the guy who wrote iRobot?
Isaac Asimov.
Asimov, yeah. Well, in his theory, what was the three rules? One was robots can't hurt humans ever. I don't know what the other ones are. It shows you how well read I am.
I say that was
PhD in literature over
here. I think I watched Will Smith's version of that like once, and then that's all. I was never an Asimov reader. Not that I have anything against him. I think there's some interesting stories in there, but it was never a writer that I sought out.
I never read that book, which, it's supposed to, it's a classic, but I've never read it. And it's actually something I would have been minorly interested in, especially as a kid, because I was into Terminator. I thought the concept was amazing, right? Yeah, and I think it's more amazing now because it's,
possible.
It looks like it might be coming true.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to fight wars anymore. You just send armies of drones to do it for you.
That's what I find to be more fascinating than AI taking over humans. Is just at what point are wars fought with robots? So then war almost becomes
attrition.
Yeah, it becomes meaningless. Like just machines killing machines. No humans die, and then after the machines are done, I guess they would eventually go after the humans. Like if you're invading, let's say, China with a bunch of robots, eventually if you destroy their robots, you can now start, going after the humans and take them out. So I guess, but it just feels like, with technology the way it is, could you ever have robots destroy robots? Since robots would be building new robots just as fast as you can destroy them. It would just be a never-ending fight.
So is this where we, for our forthcoming screenplay, we basically make a massive adaptation to Red Dawn?
Well, they've already redone it. That was a burn. So
they redid Red Dawn.
Yeah, they what do you ever call it? A reboot, a remake, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did it. I don't know what, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. Yeah. Well, it tells you how good it did. You didn't know it even happened.
No.
But yeah, I think that what we have established is to our few listeners is
hi, Mom.
If you want to write a book, we just gave you a great idea.
Yes, we did.
Because I'm certainly not going to pursue that. It's all you guys.
Well, you know what? I could reach out to my brother. You know, he's actually written a number of movie scripts, and he has his own IMDb and is a sound editor on like Sundance Film Festival movies.
Oh, sweet, right?
Yeah, so he's quite accomplished. So I can at least give him our idea to take and run with it, and we can just get like a credit.
You're right. Well, I want royalties.
I'll take a credit.
I want royalties, bro.
Okay.
No, I just want credit. I don't care about royalties.
That would be pretty fun though, if we had our own IMDb and it was just like idea people.
What do you mean? Oh, we just come up with an idea.
Ideas.
Well, I mean, that's how it starts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Hollywood sits in a room and they try to figure out, you know, well, yeah, I got an idea, but I don't think that happens anymore. I think what they do now is it's the same with Alien versus Predator. I think they sit in a room and goes, I got an idea. Well, what is it? Look at the Alien franchise, massive. Predator franchise, massive. How about we put them together? That would be twice as massive, right?
Oh, dude, that is the coolest idea ever.
And now they have a new Predator that just came out.
I saw that.
Oh, and I don't know if it's out yet, but I saw the trailers.
Predator versus Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got the Michael Jackson biopic coming out. Have you seen that trailer?
No.
They're running the trailer, and then, you know, I don't really watch these things, but I watched it to the end. It doesn't come out until April. I mean, like, geez, talk about, you know, starting the promotion early.
Was the trailer good?
I think it's okay. I mean, I don't know how to judge these things. You know, I was never a super big Michael Jackson fan, so it's not something that's drawing me in. I mean, I'm waiting for the Guns N' Roses biopic. Where's that at?
Well, as we enter into the colder winter months, are you going to trade in your pair of isotoner gloves for a single sparkly glove?
Never have, never will.
You never bought into the Dan Marino isotoner commercial?
No. Well, you know, I had a pair of isotoners. I had a pair of OJ gloves. Yeah. I got rid of them, though.
Did it fit the crime?
That's why I got rid of them. I don't want to be associated.
Ah, it's so good.
It was funny because I was listening to this guy on YouTube, and he's a old school metal guy. So he's, you know, he does a bunch of, you know, shows about 80s and heavy metal and some 90s, but mostly 80s heavy metal and hard rock. And he was talking about the band Poison, and this goes back to the Michael Jackson thing in your sequin glove. And he was talking about how, like, when he was in high school, like, these are the people that, you know, they kind of looked up to. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they had a certain kind of style and look.
Yes, they did.
And we associated this with just being like the pinnacle of something, right? Mm-hmm. But he said that, he goes, but the odd thing is that you know, if you went to school and you actually dressed like those guys, you would get your ass fucking kicked. Yes. And he was trying to, like, reconcile the idea that, like, how is it that everybody idolized this look, but at the same time would just roast the fuck out of you or possibly kick your ass if you actually showed up dressed like that. And I think Michael Jackson has the same thing. Like, at one point, that guy was considered like God.
Yes.
And, you know, that would include style. But, you know, the people that dress like Michael Jackson were absolutely just made fun of and shit on constantly.
Wait, so what I hear you saying is you don't own a sequin jacket?
No. Do you remember the scene in Beverly Hills Cop? It's near the beginning when he first arrives at Beverly Hills. He's walking down Rodeo Drive, and a guy walks past him wearing the Michael Jackson red jacket, and he's passing him. He's just looking at him, and he's got a straight face. But once the guy passes him and no longer sees him, he just kind of hunches over, laughing his ass off.
Yes, I do.
You remember that scene? That's how it would have been.
But fast forward to today, would you? So I actively look for this. Would you rock a red Michael Jackson Thriller jacket?
No, not at all. Never would. I never liked his style.
Really?
Nah, I thought he looked stupid.
You don't wear your pants too short with white socks and loafers?
No, but that was a dumb look. You mean, I know he's, like, you know, the king of pop, and at one point was, you know, I think considered borderline godlike. Mm-hmm. You know, he dressed stupid. He always did. And this is coming from somebody that thought, like, you know, Slash looked cool. So what the fuck is my opinion worth?
Oh, that's outstanding. Well, if I do find my magical Thriller leather jacket, like the legit one, I don't want like something off of some discount website, like a legit one. You will see me wearing that, even in summertime.
I have an important announcement for you, so stay tuned.
Yo, that's some next level shit, bruh.
So you got me. Big deal.
The internet's answer to a question no one asked. The Tilted Table with Sean and Joe.
Folks, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Tilted Table, the internet's answer to a question that no one asked. I'm Sean Kabibi.
And I am Joey Joe, the Fracky Mac.
And I'm going to go get my Madonna makeup and my Material Girl dress and be like a virgin.
Ooh, like with that white lace glove?
Of course.
It's a good look for you, man. It's going to bring out that Colgate smile. Peace.